Okay, so we had a look at the Xbox Series X and also the Xbox Series S in terms of input lag and the various settings. So the setup is much the same. This is once again LG C2 Brook UFB Fusion 480 frame per second camera, and then using my own program to kind of analyze the results, as you can see here. So a similar setup, LED light coming on, looking at command icon at the top, command icon at the bottom, working out how much time it would take to go from top to bottom, and then using that to extrapolate as to where the frame would end. So as always, quite a bit of work going into it, but that's how we went about it. Now, the results I will look to show now. So, as you would expect, a reasonably busy slide. Once again, we have Xbox Series X for the first 4 columns of results, top and bottom, so 8 results there, and then Xbox Series S for the next ones. To break it down, or probably where you want to be looking, you want to see the start and the end of each frame. So if we start with the kind of common ground to what we've seen before, and so the nomenclature is slightly different for Xbox versus PlayStation, and probably some of the functionality is a bit different. So for Guilty Gear Strive, no VRR, 60 Hz. You have a command starting at about 46 milliseconds and the screen finishing at about 60. If you look down at the Xbox Series S, it'll be about the same, so 45, 61. That's, all of these are about 500 trials each, about 4,000 trials total. And for interest's sake, to get all of these results, analyse it, upload all the videos, etc., took about an hour. So for 4,000 results, and it seems to be reasonably meaningful. To mention, so for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on PlayStation 5, I looked at King of Fighters, DNF Duel and Guilty Gear. For this one, I've just looked at Guilty Gear Strive. I could go back and do other titles, but my gut feeling is it won't actually change or add more information. So VRR off 60 Hz takes about 16 milliseconds to go from the top of the frame to the bottom of the frame. And that would be consistent with what we saw on the PlayStation 5. In a similar way, if we turn on VRR but leave it at a 60 Hz image, so that's the green data here, then it would start at 51, end at 59, start at 52, end at 58. And so that's kind of similar to what we saw on the PlayStation 5, where it seems to start a bit later but still finish at the same time. So far, reasonably consistent results, obviously leaving the difference till the end. So if you look at the red and or the kind of orange data, this is where it starts to show an improvement or a difference. So this is VRR either on or off, but 120 Hertz, so 120 Hertz output. 43 milliseconds at the start, 52 at the end, 44, 51, 43, 52, 43, 51. So, to my simple mind, it's starting drawing at the same point, but it's drawing the entire frame in 8 milliseconds as opposed to the 16 that it would take at a 60 Hertz output. And this is kind of what we would hope to see. So essentially the input lag therefore would be lower. If we average these two numbers, then we'd be looking at more like 53 milliseconds. Whereas if we average these two numbers, we're looking at more like 48 milliseconds. So a difference of 4 to 5 milliseconds between them. So this is certainly, to my mind, in favour of Xbox Series consoles. There didn't seem to be a marked difference between the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X, but this does seem to me to be an advantage for the Xbox Series consoles. I think in order for the PlayStation 5 to compete, it would probably have to have a way of games outputting at 120 Hz. And so for fighting games, I think we've seen that in Street Fighter 6. But to my knowledge, to my recollection, I don't think we've seen it for any of the other titles. And I do think until that happens, then the Xbox Series may have an advantage in terms of input lag.